We're training some new people, so I make sure it doesn't catch you, but it kind of gives them an idea of how this goes actually in the field. This is not you. Are you a sole homeowner here? You got a wife or any?
I'm the sole.
Okay. All right. So what had you clicking on the ad?
What was that?
What had you clicking on the ad? What was your thought process?
Just kind of solar. I want less tied in,
right?
More independence kind of deal.
Right. And make your own power.
Right.
Save a little money if you can while you're at it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and historically, solar rates were up here and utilities were down here.
Mm-hmm.
It just didn't make sense to make the jump. That was 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Right now, fast forward, we're neck and neck. So I'm usually going to come in $10, $15 more or less than what you're paying right now.
Okay.
All right. And a lot of people are making the jump because they're scared of what's going to happen 10 years from now with the utility rates rising. So the process is super simple. If you decide to go solar, the first step is the hardest part. That's seeing if you're qualified. Everybody wants it. Not everybody qualifies. So if you are financially qualified, we sign 2 quick documents. I'm out of your hair today. And then we send out a site survey to you. That's the second step.
Okay.
So they're going to take a look at your roof, your electric panel, your meter, all that. Make sure this is going to work on your home. Next step is permitting. Now, you don't hear from us for 8 to 10 weeks during permitting phase. We're letting the city and state know that we're putting a power plant in.
Okay.
After that's installed, it takes maybe a day. And then we move on, and the utility company is going to send out your net meter. You know what that is?
It's basically what we send back to them.
Right, exactly. So your current meter is always going in one direction. So a net meter is going to go back and forth. It's going to credit and debit. So now when you're using energy, you're getting debited, and when you're producing energy, you get credits. Make sense?
Yeah.
So how it works, what we do is we look at like 40 years worth of weather data, very specific weather data to this zip code. We're looking at the rates of your neighbors. We're looking at how tall that tree, they're all going to be in 25 years. We're taking all this, putting it together to determine how many panels you need to offset a specific amount of usage to make sure that you never have to pay a bill again.
Right.
So let's fast forward here 8 to 10 weeks, right? You got panels on your roof. So what's actually happening? Well, let's say you produce 1,000 kilowatts every month. Now you're not going to actually use 1,000. You're going to use like 700 of them. So the other 300 is going to get redistributed to your neighbors. Now, why is that good for you? It's because it also gets put in a bank for you. So now next month, the same thing happens. You produce 1,000, you use 700. Now you got 600 kilowatts in your bank. Month after month, this is going to happen until winter hits. Now you're not producing as much energy. So now the magic part of the process is you get to pull back those credits, even when you're not producing enough. So you don't have to do anything. You don't ask for it. It's free, and it happens automatically. And that's how we make sure that you're never paying a bill. So my goal here today is to just take away your electric bill, replace it with solar. Now, this is all good for you, but the utility companies don't like it. Right? So what they've begun to do is they've changed the net ratio. And what is that? That's what I just told you about. What you put in is what you get to pull back out. 1-to-1 ratio.
Yeah.
Right? That's fair. So we've seen them changing it to a 4-to-1 ratio. We've seen it in Utah, Arizona, California, Hawaii, right? And so for every 4 kilowatts you produce, you can only pull 1 back. It's just highway robbery. Now, the federal government's made 2 decisions on this. The first one is that they get to do this. They own the meter. They get to make this call. But the second one is once you sign up, you're grandfathered at that ratio. Wisconsin is still a 1-to-1 state. So that's why a lot of people around here are making the jump right now. They're scared of what happens when it goes 4-to-1.
Right.
It gets pricier. So that's the general gist of it. That's kind of how it works, what's happening on a basic level. I have a price for you, but before I do, you got any other questions?
So does solar increase the value of the house then?
Absolutely, yeah. So if you're thinking, are you thinking about staying here for a while, or is this kind of a project you might flip, or?
It'll be like, almost a decade, but
Okay, yeah, so you're gonna add value to the property. In fact, we do an estimate on how much value it adds. Now that value can't be, it can be assessed, but it can't be taxed. So it doesn't change your property taxes.
Okay.
Now, well, yeah, that's really about it. Now, if you do choose to sell, you got a couple options, right? So one is you've added value to your home, so you charge a little more for the house, you pay off the system, and you pocket whatever change is left. The other option is it's a fully transferable loan. So if they qualify to buy your house, they're probably going to qualify for the loan for the panels.
Right.
And they just take it over and you tell them this is your monthly rate, it'll never change. Merry Christmas. Right? Those are your two options.
Yeah.
So, any other questions before I jump into some money?
No.
Alright, so along the lines of money, the panels themselves are called triple black monocrystalline. That's just a fancy way of saying they're super nice. So if you've ever been driving down the road, you've seen solar fields on the side of the road. They got kind of a bluish tint to the panels. These are commercial grade. They pay somebody to come out and service them every 3 to 6 months. Ours are residential grade, very high quality. They typically last 50 to 60 years.
Okay.
We offer a warranty of 25 years. Anything happens to them, you call us. You don't jump up there, I don't jump up there. Our people will take care of it. Now, that's the panels. Any other quick questions? Popping into
What
your-
about what I need to do to maintain the panels? Anything?
Nothing. The only thing you'll have to do anywhere near the panels is someday your roof will need to get done. Alright, so when your roof needs to get done, let's say it costs 10 grand to do the whole roof, it's going to be a line item on the roofing bill of $300 to $500.
Okay.
They're pretty used to taking them off and putting them back on, working around them.
Okay.
So another thing is the credits, right? You get a couple credits. The first one is your federal tax credit, so that's going to be 26% of the overall bill. The federal government's going to pay you for switching to renewable. Now, that's not money to take to Disney World or go to Europe for a month. You want to put that money back into the cost of the system, because the prices that I give you are going to be contingent on you doing that.
Right.
The next credit, though, is the state tax credit, and this one's not like that. It varies from person to person. I'll have that exact number when we get into the proposal.
Okay.
The final credit is Solcius. We offer a first-time visit bonus because you clicked on the ad. We're here, we want to sign you up.
Right.
So typically on a system like this, it'd be $8,000 to $10,000 in installation, and we cut that completely. No installation costs. Also, typically there'd be 3 to 5% down on a job like this. We get rid of that too.
Okay.
So it's no money out of pocket today. I'm not going to ask you for money at any point. So that covers all of our credits. So now, here we are with price. Any quick questions?
No.
Okay. So first, let's jump into this. And let's make sure that your email's correct.
Yes.
Okay, and everything else looks good. If this is something you're interested in, this is where we're going to send all of our documents.
Okay.
Now we'll go to your actual home. So here's what they have envisioned for your house.
Okay.
Now you have a relatively low spattering of months to pull from, so this will get adjusted a little bit, and I would bet that a couple panels will actually get pulled off.
Okay.
Because you're going to have those low months where you don't use much, and when you factor those in, it's going to change how many you actually need. But this is a pretty fair guess on what it's going to end up being based on the 1 month we have. Is that about what you expected, though?
Yeah.
All right, so now here's the numbers. Now don't kick me out right away. Bear with me, all right? Because the first number is the scary number. Total system cost is $48,500. That's a big number, but that's not what you're paying me, because you got that federal tax credit in there. That's $11,800. So with your credits, that's going to bring the net system cost down to $32,000.
Okay.
It's also a big number, but that's just the cost of your electricity over the 25 years. That's what it is. You don't think about electricity like that. You think about it month to month.